Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Now, let's embark on the knowledge sharing journey with our distinguished speakers. Our first web talk is titled Beyond Traditional Learning, How AI is Reshaping Resilience Education Practices by Yang Berbahagia, Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias, Principal Fellow at the Center for Academic Advancement and Flexible Learning, CADe-Lead, Universiti Tenaga Nasional, United. Moderating this enlightening session is none other than Yang Berusaha, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Zairul Muhammad Nur from the Faculty of Design and Architecture, UPM. Get ready for an exploration into the transformative power of AI, artificial intelligence in education.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all. Welcome to the I-PICTL 2023 Web Talk 1 first session. It is a pleasure to see such diverse and engaged audience joining us today. I'm Dr. Zairul and I'll be your session chairperson for this exciting discussion. As we gather virtually from various parts of the world, I would like to extend a special welcome to our none other esteemed speaker, Professor Dr. Karim Alias from the Center for Academic Advancement and Flexible Learning at Universiti Tenaga Nasional, Uni10. We all know him. Whoever in this education line who never heard about Prof. Karim, then you are in a great danger. All right, so Dr. Karim, a former professor of food technology at University of Science Malaysia, has had an illustrious, I think, career spanning for over 28 years now, starting in 1994 and culminating his retirement in just recently in October 2022. He has held several significant administrative roles at USM and is widely recognized for his contributions to academia and research, including the prestigious National Academic Award from the Ministry of Higher Education of Malaysia and the title of Malaysia's Rising Star in Agricultural Sciences and Food Sciences and Technology. Currently, Dr. Karim serves as a Distinguished Fellow at Uni10 and as an adjunct professor at Universiti Malaya. He is a passionate advocate for online education, with his digital content reaching a global audience. Dr. Karim's commitment to e-learning was recognized at IUCEL 2022, where he received a Higher Education E-Learning Maestro Award and the Best Trendsetter Award. Today, he will be sharing his insights on Beyond Traditional Learning, how AI is reshaping resilient educational practices. This topic is not only timely, but also pivotal in understanding the evolving landscape of education in this digital era. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that I think we allow for Q&A afterwards following your presentation, although it's very short, 45 minutes, where you have the opportunity to engage directly with Prof. Karim, and feel free to submit your question at any time during the talk and in the chat box. And lastly, I encourage all participants to make the most of this session. Let's engage, learn, and contribute to a meaningful discussion that will advance our collective understanding of AI's role in education. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Professor Dr. Abdul Karim Alias to begin his presentation. The floor is yours.
Terima kasih Dr. Muhammad Zairul atau Dr. Zack, ya, yang lebih dikenali sebagai Dr. Zack. Saya share screen dulu ya. Dr. Zack boleh nampak screen? And my audio jelas?
Okay, jelas.
Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera kepada semua para peserta It's really a great pleasure to be here and to be sharing with you this topic, beyond traditional learning, how AI is reshaping resilient educational practices. Don't worry, if you don't know me, you are not in great danger. All right. Now, thank you, first of all, to the organizer, I-PICTL 2023, for having me to share this timely topic. And at the end of this presentation, I will share the link for the participants to download all the slides in this presentation. Now, there are 4 parts of my sharing this morning. The first part is basically to look at the evolution from a so-called traditional learning. What is traditional learning? And AI-powered learning. The second part is looking at the so-called resilient education or resilient education practices. What does it mean by resilient from various perspectives? And then looking at how AI can be a real game changer. Personally, I want to say that to me, the way I see it, AI is really a game changer for education, especially dealing with the so-called VUCA world. And the last part is looking at how we can use all the various AI applications or tools out there to build a so-called, or to create a so-called resilience educational practices or resilient education in general. So there are 4 parts that I hope I can share or can cover this morning. Before that, I forgot to address yang berbahagia, yang berusaha, Professor Maria Dr. Muhammad Zariat, ya, Director of CADe-Lead, and all the distinguished guests. And also yang berbahagia, Professor Datin Paduka Aini Idris. I'm not sure whether you're still here, but thank you for joining, and I really appreciate your support for me. Now, I'm actually very excited to talk about this topic because everyone is talking about uncertainties of our world now. Everything is moving so fast, very dynamic. Tomorrow probably will be different from today. So this is what we call as VUCA world. I think now this term has become more and more common. Probably last year or 2 years ago, maybe this term is not so common. But basically, we are talking about the world that is ever changing every day, every second. The world that is complex in terms of the problems that we are facing, we are dealing with. The world that is ambiguous. Ambiguity is not very clear. A lot of things, very ambiguous. The world that is volatile is kind of keep changing every second and uncertain. So that is what VUCA is in the essence. So we are dealing with a world that is always changing, and we don't know what to expect tomorrow or next week or next month, next year, and so on. So how do we deal with this kind of situation that is ever changing in the context of higher education, especially in the context of what we do in the classroom? So we are talking about educational practices here. So I hope you can join me to really to think together about this, how technology, how disruptive technologies, including AI, whether it's really a threat or really it provides us with opportunities to face the challenges in the so-called VUCA world. Now, I'd like to share with you this quote. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I believe many of you have seen this quote. I like this quote. And basically, this is how we survive the challenges and the difficulties that we are facing day to day in the VUCA world. So if we are able to deal with the problems, solve the complex problem, we deal with the challenges in our own way, we will come out stronger. It will come out stronger. So surviving challenges or difficulties can lead to personal growth and professional growth. And hopefully it will build the resilience in ourselves. That's what we want. We want to be strong and resilient, come what may in the future. We should be able to deal with the problem. We should be able to adapt. So this phrase or this quote is about adaptability. How do we adapt ourselves in the ever-changing world? And how do we deal with all the challenges and come out stronger and more resilient? So interpreting the phrase, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, in the context of education, involve understanding how educational experiences and challenges within such a dynamic and unpredictable environment can contribute to the growth and resilience of students and educators. Basically, we are looking at the ecosystem of the academic, and where we have the people that we need the people to be resilient, the students and the teachers or the educators. So we are talking about, when we talk about resilience, basically to build that kind of quality or attribute, we need to learn how to be adaptive. You know, evolution, the survival of the fittest. So I'm not teaching biology anyway here, but I think this picture illustrates this concept very well. Basically, this in Bahasa we call it periuk kera, right? These are the type of so-called carnivorous plants that have adapted very well to the adverse condition of the soil. In this case, this particular plant can thrive, can grow and thrive in the adverse environment where the soil is lacking or deficient of nitrogen. And we know nitrogen is very important for the plant to grow. So this kind of carnivorous plant have evolved and adapt to the environment. So what basically they do, they develop a mechanism where they can trap, they can lure the insects in this case, and the insect get inside the pot, and then it will trap the insect, digest it with the enzyme, and then get a nitrogen source from the insect. So what I'm trying to say here is adapting and become resilient, although the environment is changing, ever-changing, and very dynamic, but we have developed the mechanism or the ability to adopt and adapt and adapt. Okay, so you can actually watch a YouTube, very interesting YouTube here, the carnivorous plant that feast on mice. Okay, so once you get this presentation, you can click the link and you can watch the video at your own time. So basically what the point that I'm trying to get across here, in the context of our topic today, a bigger one in the context of education is resilience and adaptability. That's what we need to face the challenges of the VUCA world. Being resilient and adaptable are key qualities that allow individuals to effectively navigate through life's changes. So we are talking about individual person here, but by extension, we can extrapolate that to the bigger context of education or higher education. So really, resilience refers to the ability to bounce back from the adversity and maintain composure during difficult times. Adaptability, on the other hand, refers to the ability to adjust one's approach to change and new situation. So I'd like to draw your attention in the last 3 years. For example, we have faced with so-called two big awakening moments in higher education, in education and higher education. I want to share with you two so-called awakening moments, and I want to ask you which one is so-called tipping point, meaning that it changes the trajectory of our journey. So the first one is, of course, the pandemic. Remember, 18 March 2020, where, we have to stay inside, lockdown, so we have to stay home, to stay safe, to protect ourselves, our family, and yet we have to continue to work. So we have to stay productive. Can you imagine how much how was the early stage of the pandemic, the panic and everything, and suddenly everyone has to go online. Suddenly those who are not familiar with online teaching, online learning, they have to learn from ground zero, so to speak. Yeah. So they have to adapt basically and manage and able to deliver. And some probably at the first year, they are just barely survive. Barely survive. So that's basically the first kind of awakening point. After the pandemic or post-pandemic, when we look back, what are the lessons that we have learned? We should learn the lessons from the pandemic, and moving forward, we should be able to address those challenges and issues so that we can improve our educational practices. So these are some of the points, and I'm not able to elaborate further, but for example, there was no plan B. We are so used to teaching face-to-face. We have blended learning, so flipped learning and so on, where we use online partially, but not really go into it. So there's no really plan B when we have to go full online. Lack of readiness in terms of the mindset, skill set, and even the tool set. And this was true for students, academic staff, lecturers, administration, leaders, and so on. Lack of agility. Then we can see the amplification of the digital divide. Those who have the technology, the have and the have not, greater inequalities in access, and so on and so forth. Okay, now those are the lessons learned. And the second awakening moment was in November, 30th November 2022, when ChatGPT was launched. So in fact, actually, we are going to celebrate the first anniversary of ChatGPT at the end of the month. So 1 year, almost 1 year now. I have never really thought that 2023 is the year of AI. So now we are talking about AI, and now we have so many issues that we are very concerned with, like the integrity, academic integrity, plagiarism, and whatnot. So, ladies and gentlemen, the second awakening point is the AI, the introduction of ChatGPT and other generative AI. So I would say that we have hit a tipping point for artificial intelligence. What does it mean by tipping point? Yeah. But anyway, I just want to say that in the dynamic and ever-changing world, one must not only survive. Just like in the pandemic, we just barely survive. We learn how to teach online. We learn how to do assessment online and so on. But I always say to people, to colleagues and so on, surviving is not enough. Because if you are just barely surviving or live your life just surviving, you will live under a lot of stress. So surviving is not enough. What we want to strive for is to thrive and to flourish and become resilient. Okay, so this is where I want to share with you. Many years ago, this guy, author Ray Kurzweil, already talked about AI. And in his book, The Singularity is Near, he talked about how the AI would evolve to the point where it can surpass the intelligence of human beings. Where we are nearing that point, the point of singularity. Okay, so I quote from his book. He said, within a few decades, machine intelligence will surpass human intelligence, leading to the singularity. Technological change so rapid and profound, it represents a rupture in the fabric of human history. And we are already seeing how the AI has disrupted. It's really a disruptive technology. It really changed the way we do things, the way we teach, the way students learn, the way people learn. It changes all the segments of our life. the fabric of human history, changes the economy, how the economy works, how the financial system works, how education works. Basically, almost everything AI can really change the way we do things. So this is what I mean just now, the book by Malcolm Gladwell, Tipping Point. What does it mean by tipping point? The two awakening moments just now. And I would say pandemic is one big one, but AI is another big one. And both can be considered a tipping point, but I would say that AI is probably a bigger tipping point, which simply means a magic moment when an idea, trend, or social behavior crosses a threshold, tips, and spreads like wildfire. Basically, what we are seeing now with AI is spreads like wildfire to the extent, to the point where we are worried now whether AI will change our life or whether our life will be controlled, will be dictated by AI. Whether we will become lazy to think because everything can be done, or we can kind of outsource the thinking to AI, basically. Okay, so that what is tipping point means. It changes the trajectory of our journey, our academia, our academic life, our life, and so on. So now, the topic is about moving from traditional learning to resilient, to so-called resilient educational practice. But what does traditional learning means? We have to be very clear on this one because we want to move from something to something else. So we have to have a clear or clarity of what this traditional learning refers to. So these are some of the things. Traditional learning, in terms of pedagogical approach, traditional learning often follows a teacher-centered approach where the instructor is the primary source of knowledge. I'm not saying that teacher-centered is no longer useful. No, it still has its place. It's still important to me, okay? So it typically involves standardized curricula where all students receive the same instruction regardless of their individual learning needs or pace. Traditional learning also, in the traditional learning environment, where usually learning takes place in a physical classroom. For many centuries, that's what happened. It follows a set timetable and structure. It is quite rigid or sometimes very rigid. It's not very flexible. So we have rigid versus flexible, with lesson delivered in specific time blocks. We have the timetable, we have a set time like 1 hour or 50 minutes and so on. It's not that flexible. We have to follow. It's very kind of structured. In terms of assessment, in the context of traditional learning, focus on standardized tests and exams to evaluate student learning. So we have formative, we have summative. Often uses a one-size-fits-all approach for assessing students' performance. So we have one rubric to assess everything, right? Then when we talk about student engagement and interaction, it's limited, very limited personalization because we are talking about handling like a class of 50, 60, 100, 200. So very limited time and opportunities for the lecturers, for the teacher to really interact with the individual student, to really personalize learning for the students because there are just a big number of students. Interaction is primarily between the teacher and the whole class with less emphasis on individual student. Then we talk about educational tool and resources. Basically, in the traditional learning, we depend very much on the textbook, physical textbook, physical educational material. Even in ODL, open distance learning, we still have we depend on so-called self-instructional material. Now a lot of people talking about ODL, many institutions talking about ODL post-pandemic. Now people start to talk about SIM. Only 2 years ago, I don't know when you mentioned SIM, what is SIM? But now everyone seems to, which is a good thing. Limited use of digital technologies or interactive learning tools. So this, in a nutshell, what traditional learning is. What's the problem with traditional learning? Are we going to dispense with or just put aside or forget about traditional learning? To me, no. We can have a blend of so-called traditional and not so traditional, or using where we are talking more about more immersive, interactive learning, and part of it involve using technology. It doesn't have to use technology, but technology can be integrated in such a way that would add value. That's the keyword, ladies and gentlemen. When we use technology or disruptive technology or AI for that matter, it's all about adding value. It's all about giving more or better learning experiences for the student. That's the bottom line. It's not just for the sake of using technology, just to show off, just to make sure that we are not left behind. No, not for that reason. If that is the reason why we are using technology, why we are using AI, then probably we are misled or not doing it with the right intention. Now, I'm not going to say much about AI because everyone knows what AI is. I presume by now, yeah. But how do we leverage? How do we harness the power of AI? That's basically the important things or essential thing that we need to know. How do we harness the power of AI to enable us to do things more efficiently, better, faster, always on the positive, positive points. So when we talk about AI in the context of higher education, teaching and learning, basically we are referring to generative AI, which basically the type of artificial intelligence that creates new data or content by learning from existing data. So one thing about AI is very good with recognizing patterns. So AI has been trained on billions data point or trillions even. GPT-4, I think, was trained on trillions data point. So meaning that it has consumed a lot of data, and then from there it will generate, based on your instruction or so-called prompt, it can generate a kind of ideas, text, image, even video nowadays. Is really mind-blowing, mind-boggling. If you see what AI can do. And the only way for you to appreciate the power of AI is to experience it, to start using it. If not, then don't talk about AI, don't comment about AI, don't say anything about AI, because you are not in a position to give comment or to give opinion if you have not experienced AI. Okay. Now, of course, the most popular AI application is ChatGPT, which GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. ChatGPT is the most famous one. Basically, it is based on deep learning technology that uses artificial neural network. To me, put simply, ChatGPT is my extended or second brain. I call it my virtual PA, who never gets tired or complain and ask for salary raise. Okay, so I quote from this Mustafa Sulaiman, co-founder of DeepMind, when he commented about AI as virtual assistant. He said that it is a friend. It's really going to be ever present and alongside you, living with you, basically on your team. I like to think of it as like having a great coach in your corner. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, when we talk about AI and how it can help us to be resilient in terms of educational practice, in terms of what we do, in terms of how we design our course, our lesson plan, curriculum, and so on. I think the way I see ChatGPT and other AI tools, these are so-called Swiss Army knife, meaning that it serves multi-purpose. It can do a lot of things, provided you know how to harness and leverage the power. So I like to view my relationship with AI or ChatGPT in this case as a collegial partnership. So I can chat, I can have a discussion, I can have a good brainstorming with this. I do this almost on daily basis, brainstorming. In fact, for when preparing this presentation, I started off with having a brainstorm with ChatGPT. So this is becoming more and more common now, more and more common, using ChatGPT and using AI application as the tools for us to facilitate our work, for students to facilitate their learning. Sugata Mitra, very eminent educationist, when he talked about technology, he said, and especially this is especially true in the context of ChatGPT and other AI application, you don't actually need to know anything now because the information is at the fingertips. You can find out at the point when you need it, when you need to know it. So this is just in time, just enough, just for me. Yeah? It's a teacher's job to point young minds towards the right kind of question. A teacher doesn't need to give any answers now because answers are everywhere. So by extension, maybe we don't need to give any lecture now because if the lecture is based on the content that is there on the internet and the ChatGPT can give to the students, what's the point of giving lecture? What I'm trying to say here is we as a lecturer has to find ways to bring new value to the classroom. What values can we add so that we are still relevant, so that the students still would want to come to our classroom? So there are now over this figure is quite old. It's outdated already. I think there are more than 3,000 AI tools now already. More than as of March 2023, almost 15,000 AI startup in the US alone. And these are some of the big companies that really drive the proliferation of AI. They are big one. And in terms of business, in terms of the dollar and cent, the global AI hardware market now is expected to grow to 234.6 billion by 2025. And there are many directories out there if you want to keep up what are the new things on AI. Now, ladies and gentlemen, second part of my sharing here is to talk about how does AI or how do AI application can help us to build a resilient education system or education ecosystem or educational practices, and looking this from different perspectives. Now, resilient education can be interpreted from various perspectives, each highlighting different aspects of how education system, educators and students can adapt and thrive in the face of challenges. So we can look at this from the perspective of systemic perspective, pedagogical perspective, student-centric perspective, technological perspective, social and equity perspective, global and cultural perspective, environmental perspective, and economic perspective. Let me just pick up a few. I don't have time to really go through, but let's look at the bigger kind of picture of how this resilient education and resilient educational practices can be assisted by AI. So AI application or AI can help us in terms of adaptability and scalability, the ability of education system to adapt to changing circumstances. So things are changing, as I mentioned earlier, VUCA world. So with the AI application now, it can really help us to deal with the fast changing world, including what's happening in education. The shift in technology, societal needs, crises like COVID-19 pandemic. This includes scaling resources to meet increased or varied demands, because with AI tools, it can do something, meaning that it can be more productive, something that we need maybe 2 hours to get it done, but AI can do maybe in 10 minutes. So that will increase our productivity. So then in terms of infrastructure and robustness, having robust technological and physical infrastructure that can support diverse modes of learning, including online and hybrid models. Let's look at the pedagogical practice, because we are talking about resilience educational practices. So meaning we are looking at what we do in the classroom, the pedagogical practices, innovative teaching methods. Really, if we learn how to harness the power of AI, my God, there are so many things we can do, provided we have the opportunity now to be more creative. Lecturers, educators now have to be more creative to leverage and to harness the power of AI, incorporating flexible and innovative teaching methods. This is where flexible learning comes in. Cater diverse student population, so no one size fits all anymore, and maintain effectiveness under different conditions. Professional development, continuous professional development for educators to equip them with the skill and knowledge to utilize new technologies and teaching strategies. So any universities now, they must have a center that would help the lecturers to learn to master the tools of technology, including AI. So that's what CADe-Lead supposed to do, and what my center here, our center here in Unit 10 also doing now. But people must come to learn. Otherwise, you will not be able to harness the full power of AI. Okay, when we talk about student-centric perspective, how AI can really help us to create that resilient ecosystem. We are talking about personalized learning, creating personalized learning path that consider individual student needs. So we are talking about differentiated learning now. We are talking about how do we individualize or personalize the learning for the students. We are talking about not one size fits all, but looking at the different diverse needs of the students of different background, different abilities, and so on. Emotional and psychological resilience, fostering emotional and psychological resilience in students, equipping them with the skill to cope with stress, adapt to change, and overcome obstacles. How do we achieve this? Well, that requires more elaboration there, but it's all about getting students to learn properly how to use the tools of technology within the boundary of academic integrity that we define for them. The do's and the don'ts. Okay, so that's another topic when we talk about the challenges of this in terms of academic integrity, plagiarism, and so on. Technological perspective, integration of emerging technologies, integration of research, disruptive technologies in our learning design, in our course design, in our lesson design. Effective integration. I would say effective, seamless integration of AI, machine learning, and other emerging technologies to enhance learning experience and operational efficiency. Data-driven insight. This is very powerful. We can use now AI to utilize data analytics so that we give us informed decision, early identification of at-risk students, and tailoring educational content. So we can do intervention at the appropriate time to help our student, not waiting till the end, but by using this data learning analytics, it can help us to really tailor the educational needs of our student, to intervene and to provide assistance, timely assistance to the student. Social, okay, the rest of this, I'm not going to elaborate. Let me just continue to the next one. Now I want to talk about why we are talking, why do we concern, or why do we want to have resilience or build or create resilience in education and educational practices? Because we are dealing, we can remember, the VUCA world, the global challenges, and the recent pandemic has shown us how quickly and unexpectedly the educational landscape can change. Therefore, if we build that adaptability, ability to adapt, and then we become resilient, meaning that come what may in the future, we should be able to deal, to adapt, to adopt, adapt, and kind of do the necessary things to deal with the challenges. We don't get panic. Technological evolution. Technology is basically advancing very fast. Equity and access. We talk about SDG 4, inclusiveness, inclusivity, equity, equality, and so on. So, of course, the digital divide is still there, but it shouldn't stop us from now starting to use technology to leverage so that we can provide the best learning experience for our students. And the final part of my sharing is I want to talk about how do we enhance educational practices, resilience with AI. Again, since time is very limited, I will leave you with all this point to really dwell on this. But basically what I want to say here, education systems need to prepare students not just for today's world, but for the future. AI equips students with skill and knowledge relevant to a world increasingly shaped by technology, fostering adaptability and future readiness. So here are some of the points. Basically, adaptability to changing circumstances. For example, we talked about data just now. So now, moving forward, there will come a time where all universities now can have a so-called adaptive learning platform. So that with this adaptive learning platform, we can leverage the data analytics or learning analytics, and we can kind of personalize learning for our students. But we need a proper platform. So there are some examples. We can now use AI to personalize learning for our students. Just like when we go to YouTube, when we watch a certain video and we like certain video, then the next time we go to YouTube, we will recommend what will be what are our favorite videos and so on. That's basically personalized. The same thing that adaptive learning platform can do, it can also personalize learning for us based on the pattern, how we use the platform, how often we log in, what we view, what we download, and so on. And AI can be used also to support special education, again, to support diverse learning needs, interactive and immersive learning. There's so much here. We talk about mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality. We can create a safe learning environment for our students. Although they are in the real life, they are probably doing something not that have some risk. For example, when they go to the oil platform, oil drilling platform, there could be some risk. But when they do it in the virtual environment, we provide a safe environment for them to learn, to do experiment, and so on. So these are some of the things here that I don't have time to really elaborate. But as you can see, content customization for diverse needs. Oh my God. This one, only those people who have used AI to create content, they will understand what I mean here. You can create video just by giving one simple prompt and the whole video can be created in no time. So we can really facilitate our work. We can scale up education, production of educational resources using AI because it can be done very quickly. You don't have to be an expert technical person to create video, teaching video, and so on. Again, continuous monitoring, feedback and improvement, data-driven decision-making, and so on. So finally, what I want to say, all these examples that I've shared here, although I don't have time to really elaborate one by one, it shows how AI's adaptability enhances educational resilience by allowing system to quickly respond to and manage changes, whether they are due to global crisis, technological advancement, or evolving education needs. The bottom line is, this adaptability ensures that education can continue effectively and inclusively regardless of the challenges faced in the future. That's where we get to the point of resilience there. So as a conclusion, these are the three takeaways. AI drives personalized and inclusive education, enhance adaptability and resilience in education, data-driven insights and improve learning outcomes, So I will leave with these three quotes here. The first, this one from Sugata Mitra. Basically, he said, learning is the new skill now. Imagination, creation, and asking new questions are at its core. We don't have to provide answers to our students, but we need to train them, develop the skill how to ask good, critical, thought-provoking questions. That's what Sugata Mitra basically said. The way forward, education's compulsion to keep new technology out of the classroom not only hurts education. So technology, including AI, is no longer an option. So, ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues, we have to adapt, and adapt. Right? So that's for you if you are interested to download. There's a link there, or you can also scan the QR code. Oops, sorry. Right. So I think we have like a few minutes for Q&A. Back to Dr. Zairul.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. Wow, it's very I would say head-tuning discussion. I think, there are some points that you highlighted that to survive is not enough. AI is a tipping power, and then how the changes in the trajectory of our life. So I just maybe conclude a bit before we come up to the question, and then I see. I also remember there's one book by this Chinese I think teacher Shen Kuan Yu and Yu Lu. They talk about AI technologies tailored to diverse educational settings. So I think it's corroborate with what you mentioned just now, that how AI can be tailored to suit different educational contexts, including diverse cultural and socio-economic backgrounds, something like that. And then we also deal with issue of how academic integrity, discussion, but it's going to take longer time to discuss about it. But it's very interesting discussion, and I also like to take this quote that ChatGPT gonna be my PA now. I think it's very 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 good I think idea. All right, there's a question from the audience. No name mentioned, but okay. The question is, how should educational institutions evolve to prepare students for a future increasingly dominated by AI? So yeah, how we want to maybe compete with the robots.
From Dr. Suryana, right?
Yeah.
How should educational institution evolve to prepare students for a future increasingly dominated by AI and automation in terms of both technical skills and soft skills? Yeah, there's no choice. I think all the educational institutions have to embrace technology, embrace AI. It's no longer an option. So meaning that when I say embrace, first of all, the leadership, the top leadership of the institution must understand digital, must understand technology, must understand AI. But understanding is not enough. Understanding is not enough. They have to be the practitioner as well. They have to experience the technology. They have to experience what AI can do. Only then they will appreciate and they will support by putting the necessary investment. So how the institution should evolve? The leadership must understand, and then they must put in the necessary investment. Investment for what? Investment of money to develop the infrastructure, investment of in professional development. So like what CADe-Lead is doing now, because we have to invest in people. We have to invest in provide enough funding to provide professional development or training, you call it, to our lecturers, to our admin staff, to our leaders, or send them outside to get certification in all these AI things and so on. So that's how the institution should evolve and support in order to create the necessary skill set, the necessary ecosystem that would drive and support the development of technology and harness the power of AI. Right. So there's one I'm not sure question or comment from Dr. Rahmita here. Can I read Dr. Zach?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. We are so eager with the technology, we might forget that there are students who still like traditional teaching methods. We may lose a very good resource. We don't have to. We don't have to lose. The thing is this. The keyword here, or the key here, is about striking the balance, or finding the balance between integrating or using technology, including AI, and blend it with the kind of so-called traditional kind of teaching, which I mentioned just now. Because there are still places for direct interaction or teacher-centered, where teachers are kind of explaining things or teaching things and so on. Although for me, I can do that part of teaching, direct teaching, so-called direct instruction, as part of the kind of wrapping up, or as part of the disclosure, as part of the kind of what do you call this, debriefing in the session, rather than giving straight lecture. So traditional teaching methods are still there and are still relevant. We just have to know when to use it appropriately at the right time. So it's not everything technology, no.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. If I may ask question.
Sure.
My name is Farid from FoodTech UPM. Thank you for your very wonderful presentation just now. Perhaps the introduction of this AI in the education and learning system, it might be like sort of for those who don't really understand what is this thing is changing our environment. It's like a mindsetting of a phobia, Prof. So how we want to change the mindsetting of among educators instead of taking AI as our competitors. Instead of that, we should take this as facilitating our teaching and learning. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. That's very relevant, and it's actually FAQ. FAQ, meaning that frequently asked questions as well.
Correct.
But the answer to that is quite simple. It's all about mindset. It's all about readiness. Just like the early days of pandemic, many people are not ready to really go fully online, teaching online, right? So it's about readiness, and then come AI. Again, we have to learn new things and so on. And for those who always kind of have some fear of technology, I can understand. I'm quite empathetic to those who have some form of kind of allergy or fear to technology. I think we cannot really, we cannot take it lightly, and we have to be empathized with this. With our colleagues who are not really into technology. So, but what we need to do is to help them, to provide assistance, and this can be individual assistance, and center like CADe-Lead. They can play a role to kind of to ease the fear of this group of staff who are not really into technology. We have to show them that the capability of all these AI and technological tools, because remember, seeing is believing. So, that's why I mentioned just now, don't comment or don't say anything about AI and technology until you try it out yourself, until you experience it, until you produce useful content, until you try to teach using all this technology and so on. Because if you have not tried, you'll never know what it can do. You will never know the real power of this, how it can assist you. Technology is not a bane. Technology is a boon. So we have to make our friends, colleagues understand and appreciate. Get them to try first. Seeing is believing. Trying is believing.
Thanks, Prof. Thanks, Prof.
Okay, Dr. Farid, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Do we still have time for another question, or we want to wrap it up?
Yeah, Dr. Pushpa said, yeah, AI is here to stay. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are with me. Embrace it. Yeah, embrace it. Work with it or around it when necessary. Finding the balance is probably the key. I totally agree, because there's no, even within the technology tools that we have here, there is no one single technology, there is no one single AI tools that can do everything. At the end of the day, it is us, the teacher, the lecturer. We are the so-called learning designer. So we come in as a designer, and we use all this AI and technology as tools. So, but remember, I repeat this again and again in my many presentation. A fool with a tool is still a fool. So don't be a fool, meaning that let's learn the technology, learn how to use it properly, learn to harness the power, and then we will use the technology wisely and properly and effectively. You don't have to learn 10 applications. No, I would say 5 would do. That would be the tools in your toolbox. Everyone must have the so-called technology toolbox now. I would say 5 would do. So again, to wrap up, I just want to kind of urge everyone here to be able to kind of not only survive, but to flourish in the world of VUCA, come what may in the future, where we will be ever already, if we put ourselves in a position where we become a lifelong learner. We will learn all the new things coming our way, so that we can use this to face the new challenges coming our way. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Karim, with this very insightful talk. I think you can always connect with him. You can give email, and then also can connect. He got a blog, Facebook, and all sort of because he's a very technology savvy, so you can just follow him, and then perhaps maybe still connect with him. So I think my last word is that there's no option. We have to adopt, adapt, and adapt. So thank you so much for this session, and let's continue with our next session afterwards. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Prof. Dr. Abdul Karim, and
Thank you.
our moderator, Associate Professor Dr. Zach, for the insightful knowledge sharing journey just now. Okay, next, ladies and gentlemen, we have just scratched on the surface of our knowledge pool in I-PICTL2023. Now, let's peek into the future of teaching and learning with our session on transformative teaching and learning, GIPP, Recipients, Research and Innovation. Get ready to be inspired by groundbreaking research from our invited speakers. Our first speaker or presenter is Dr. Nur Aniza Ahmad, who will share insight into developing undergraduate emotional skills through a face-to-face emotional intelligence intervention, F2FEII. Without further ado, allow me to again invite Dr. Nur Aniza for her presentation.
Hello, hi everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to Kate for inviting me to sharing this GIPP research finding in the 6th International Putra InnoCreative Carnival in Teaching and Learning 2023. And the title of my grant research is Developing Undergraduates' Emotional Skills Through EII, Emotional Intelligence Intervention. And the researcher in my team is Associate Professor Dr. Sarva Mangala and Tika Shin. Okay. All right. So first of all, what does EI or emotional intelligence means? Okay. So EI nowadays appear to be more essential than conventional intelligence quotient, IQ, in this modern civilization. So unlike the other types of intelligence, for example, such as academic intelligence, EI can be developed by formal and informal life experience or intervention. And emotional intelligence is one of the most actively debated intelligence subjects in the present research. So it is now widely acknowledged to play a significant role in predicting students' academic achievement, judgment, and interpersonal relationships, especially in higher education. Okay. So as we know, what is EI? Mayer and Salovey describe EI as the ability to administer one's own and others' emotions and feelings, differentiate emotions, and use the emotion. And EI places a greater emphasis on the importance of non-intellectual qualities and attributes for life achievement, such as emotional management, adaptive coping, empathy, self-awareness, adaptive adjustment, and others. Okay. So these are 5 research objectives of the study. The first one is to examine the level of the EI levels of undergraduates, and also to examine the content validity of the EI module. And the study also examines the psychometric properties of the adapted shutter emotional intelligence skill, ASEIS, of undergraduate students. And the last RO is to examine the effect of EI intervention module. Okay. So what are the issues and why we need to develop EI module and EI instrument? Okay. So Marzuki et al. And his colleagues discovered the majority of Malaysia public university students scored low on an emotional intelligence assessment. And according to the survey conducted on the university students from 10 Malaysian public universities, 51.37 scored poor in EI and only 48.56 scored excellent in EI. So low EI is a condition that can harm a wide range of interpersonal connection. And low EI individuals consistently struggle to to understand other people's feelings, and they will feel to manage their emotion appropriately when they distress. Okay, and other studies also indicate that among 460 Malaysian undergraduates, 13.3% of them scored slightly low and on the AAS, and 71.7 scored moderate, and only 15% scored high. Okay. And also, although many researchers emphasize the lack of EI in higher education institutes, however, fewer studies have been devoted to discover students' EI level and how EII intervention with a solid theoretical base can be developed in the university's context, especially in the Malaysian. And based on the research gap, this study focused on the developing an ability-based EI module and adapted of the instrument, as well as examine the effect of EI intelligence intervention using EI module. Okay. So the research methodology, this study is a quasi-experimental design with both treatment and experimental and control group. For the group distribution, the cluster sampling approach will employ, and researcher will divide population into group and choose a random from each category using cluster sampling. Okay, and for inclusive criteria, all first and second semester UPM undergraduates enrolled in social science and science program are selected as a participant. Okay, and to meet the research aims, this experiment approach 30 undergraduates in each class, taking into account the practical and potential dropout difficulties, and 60 undergraduates will be selected for a treatment groups, and another 60 students will get no intervention as a control group. So in total, 120 students recruit for this study. And for the instrument used, this study use SEIS instrument to examine the students' level of EI, and SEIS was developed using the Meyer-Salovey ability-based model. And however, one of the important construct, understand emotion, was not inculcated into the instrument. Okay, so we include this construct into the adapted instrument. Okay, so the adapted SEIS used to measure 5 dimensions of EI skill, including the perceptions of emotions, understand the emotions, managing our own emotions, and managing others' emotion, and also utilizations of emotions. Okay, and for the results, the levels of EI, this study found that from the participant, from the respondent, the EI of the respondent have been checked to ensure all the respondents meet the criteria of the research. They are not in the excellent level, and from the level of EI, the studies found that 3.9% score are high EI and 34.4 are above average and 60.18 are at the average level. So for the average level, the score for EI is 41 to 170. Okay. And only 1.55% participant score below EI. Okay. So the test of content validity coefficient of EI intelligence module are highly rated by an experts and they agree that the EI module content met the statement's objective and appropriate for the implementation among undergraduates. And for the instruments, okay, for the instrument, ASEIS, the instrument achieved the excellent universal agreement between the expert and also fulfilled the requirement of the reliability and validity. And for the test of effect of intervention on undergraduates EI, the result shows that the social science treatment group shows the statistically significant differences, and also the science treatment group show the statistically significant difference. Okay, and no significant differences found in the aspect of EI for the control group. Okay, right. What are the impacts of the research on teaching and learning? So based on this finding, the research proved that the participants from both social science and science showed the significant improvement in EI after EI intervention using the module. And the finding also evident that the instrument, which is ASEIS, is suitable to apply in the Malaysian context, and also EII module is also suitable to apply in Malaysia higher education context. And next is, what are the challenges and the lessons learned? So despite the current study shedding light on the adapted EI instrument reliability and validity to apply in the Malaysian context, it also has several challenges, such as the samples selected among young adults with the age ranging from 20 to 22 years old that are studying at UPM. Therefore, more research are needed in the different educational setting. And the studies of ASEIS, the instrument, are relatively new. Thus, further investigation is especially needed for the applications in young adults. And investigation on the influence of age, study field, and gender on the results of ASEIS, and also the challenges to re-examine the content validity of ASEIS in different countries, because the norms and interpretation of emotions are very broad and it might be culturally different. Okay. And the direction of for the direction and future research, we recommend the EI researchers to expand the implication of the ASEIS among young population in Malaysia, such as well as in the non-Western cultures. And we also recommend to include the ability-based module into the current academic curriculum as a way to improve young generation's EI emotional intelligence skills. And as a conclusion, this study found the emotional intelligence module present the high content validity based on the result of content validity, FA, CB, ICM, statistical analysis, and the researchers should conclude that the ASEIS is a reliable and valid measurement that can be used to examine Malaysian young adults of EI. And these are the publication that maybe everyone, if interested, can refer to the psychometric properties of English and Malay version of adapted ASEIS. So this is Q1 journal article. And also this research output comes with 2 copyright EI module and also the instrument ASEIS, which successfully registered the copyright. And this product of the research also for one PhD students that are waiting for the Viva status. Okay, I think that's all for my sharing. Back to MC.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Aniza, for the presentation. Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.
Now, let me invite our second presenter of the day, Dr. Chong Min, to share with us his project titled Universal Design for Learning, UDL, Integrated Gamification as an Authentic Assessment for Undergraduate Courses of Multiple Faculties. Without further ado, allow me to invite Dr. Chong Min.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, and good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to present my GIPP project, UDL Integrated Gamification as an Authentic Assessment for Undergraduate Courses of Multiple Faculties. I would like to start with a little bit of background. So, most educators, we tend to use the pedagogies that we are comfortable with, and overlooking actually students comes with different learning cognitive styles and needs. Therefore, we can't actually evaluate the students using just one method, like we ask all the animals to climb tree. They come with different learning style and also capabilities. So what is UDL? UDL is Universal Design for Learning. It's actually to accommodate inclusive educational design, and this inclusive can be as to the extent of disabled learners, but not only that, it can actually benefiting slow and fast learner and so on. So the UDL is based on the neurological science studies, and then compiled into a framework with all 9 domains, and each domain have the subdomains. So if you click on the subdomains here, you will realize that they actually have all the guidelines. If how do you provide multiple means of engagements, representation, actions and expressions to engage with students, so that your approach can be accommodative. But the issue here is the the educator tend to get overwhelmed with, they come to this framework, or they have the misperception thinking that this is just for special education, but this is not. So the UDL is actually being embraced by a numbers of educational bodies and recognized UDLs. So let's during the MCO times, initially we do the gamification for physicals, and then we have the issues of MCO, then we switch to online, and that's why we've been given adaptation to adapt our GIPP but maintain the objective and also study design. So we went for virtuals, and we realized that virtual learning is even more severe. The challenge includes when the most of the issue derive from passive learner participation, because they feel that there's no interaction, so the involvement is passive and perfunctory. And after that, to compensate this limitation, the lecturers like feeling that why they are talking alone in the Google Meet or Zooms or Teams, and then to ensure there's engagement, they'll give more assignment. But this assignment will actually make the learners more burdens, overloaded with duties. Every week have assignment, come to a point that the learners complain, saying that it's not just one subject, the multiple subjects. Every week they have to do many assignments during the MCO times. So the vicious cycles is become worse because the learners fail to engage meaningfully. So they give more passive involvement, then the lecturers turn to give more assignment. So when we switch to this to adapt to MCO but still carry out our GIPP, we observe this issue. Then we realize that we need to discuss with all the members from different faculties and come up with the interventions. So therefore, we coin a techniques called usum. So we give them a very nice name. 1, 2 usum means 1, 2 usum refer to step by step, like give you instructional designs and social emotional learning to let you feel the interactions. The UDL will be the man how to design your activities and also embrace the difference of multiple intelligence of the learners. So it's systematic, comfortable, engaging, and accommodative. So we come with a modules because our members come from different faculty. We need to come up with a systematic way to tell the instructors how to design, and we have to because there's no way for us to meet each other physically, so we need to come up with the step by step, and then after that we design the learners. Just now we mentioned virtual learning during that time is unfavorable mode because it's a sudden shift from the conventional physical teaching and learning to the online learning. So the learner are unfamiliar. The gap between proactive and also passive learners become wider compared to the physical one, and they also feel that the teaching and learning quality very low because there's no interaction and also interpersonal elements between student and lecturers and also student and students. So they don't have motivation and they are easily get distracted. So how we solve them with the USUM is that with the USUM, we embrace SEL. SEL is also one of the important elements. If you engage with Google Education or DL, they also mention about SEL. So that to promote, to break the ice, that I can show you examples that we let them acknowledge them. This is a learning times, and also let them acknowledge their stress level. There are many activities also like ice breaking, draw your breakfast, draw your study areas, and how's your Raya holiday that is during the MCO times and also overlapping with the Raya holiday. So yeah, they can feel the Raya. The Raya mood is not so happening that time because MCO, and also we want them to feel the interaction. So you can see that we can be, while waiting for learners, let them interact through the online platforms. Then after that, the gap issues, the WUSUMs, actually the most important here is the designs, which I will share a little bit more later on the UDL, and also incorporate the material that address different learner needs. So yeah, this including you need to embrace an activity that like some learners they are visuals, some learners they are actually audios and so on. So you have the activity to let them express, and when they have they find a ways that fit their learnings, they feedback to you, and then you carry out, like you don't set one activity, one authentic assessment just for them, like Kahoot. Maybe Kahoot is like favoring the fast responder, not really the slow responder. So the slow responder will turn to get stressed. The gamify element are there, they're excited, but then they also set stress. So you need to embrace the diversity, to embrace the multiple means of engagement. So after that, like, some of them are more on visuals. They learn when they draw and so on. And some of them like to organize their learnings. You give them flexibility. Okay, some of them like to combine this one tables first and also diagrams, and some of them like to drag because they are more kinetic type of learners, and you need to prepare all this. And yeah, they will find a ways and tell you that, doctor, I like this method and I thought like a visual learner, but the more you give us the options, there will be, let me realize that, oh, I really suitable for this particular method and so on. Then the quality is actually very low, and the UID will actually bring issue that because the UID involves the students as the feedback, tell them what's your preference and which one, how do you prefer, should we focus more on what, to get the feedback from them, so that they always feel that the interaction is two ways. It's not like the lecture also, they get the real-time engagement from the students, so they don't go and overwhelm the student with all the assignment, because they form the interaction online here. They see the student are engaged fully. By the way, we use Jamboards and also Pedagogies. Right. So also this is one of the very popular one, which is palettes, and also there are many ways. Even just Google Meet itself, you can have a breakout room, and there are multiple ways to do. We do a treasure hunting using the Google Meet and so on, just for break the cycle, the ice breaking, to have their interpersonal interactions. Okay, back to their lack of motivation and distractions. You need to nurture the self-awareness and self-management. From time to time, give them a triggers, let them know, let them feedback, how they should improve after the activity. They will tell you that revise back the recorder video, important to watch again the video, and then they will tell you what's their actions, and they, at the same time, they also reflect what can they do better. So SEL activities also give them way to regain their attentions. From time to time, you sandwich in some social emotional learning activities, like I'm teaching deep sea physiology of deep sea marine organisms, and then you let them give them a bread and then ask them to draw a broad fish, and yeah, that will completely give them a refresh, and they will regain their attention next. So overall, we compile them into a manual how we fulfill the UTL, each of the 9 domains and the 9 guidelines here. So the effectiveness is good that I have to handle 2 groups, and also I think 3 of our members also have that chance that they handle both groups. So some topics from group A we do with WUSM. Another topic we do any activity without any WUSM guided. You can do Kahoot, you can do anything that you like. You can do the Moodles, H5P and so on. We don't set limits, but don't purposely lack of activities. We do this and compare. So from different faculties, and we measure it, then we realize that it's actually boosted the knowledge, and also the online attendance, the view counts, and also the evaluations. We compare them to another group of lectures, and this is I think it's not quite ethical to compare that, but we included in our questionnaire also. Right. So overall, the learner feel guided, and then they is accommodated. They have way to engage with you, and then they are social emotional, interact with their friends and also the lectures, and they don't have the feelings of like further away from the classroom, and they develop a sense of belonging and intrinsic motivations. And yeah, for instructor wise, they like sudden shift when you give them a guideline, like instruction step by step, they feel that, okay, collective, organized, because otherwise they went and joined so many web talk during their times, and then they come out with don't know what to do with their class. And so that's why I give them the guideline, and they will be collective, and they can stay social emotionally with the learners and understand the principle of UDL, and also step by step guide them to have the immersive and engaging online environments. So that is after the MCO, we move on to another phase where we start to have hybrid and also physicals. So this is in the process. We have copyright and trademark, and this is another copyright that we apply. So I'm not going to go so details. I will go a little bit details on the one that we copyrighted. So when we for the learners, that for the educator, that they want to know about UDL and they want to design on themselves, and they want to learn about all the UDL principle, then we develop an app that they can actually fill up the worksheet, and then they can answer the question. I can't show you much, but it's about 39 questions. That's simple. After they answer, they can actually download the apps and to design to fit their activity. Say they are doing on some low resolution metaverse like CADe towns. So how you make the CADe towns to be engaging? You can go to these UDL apps that we develop and answer those questions that stimulate, give you tips and stimulate you to design according to the UDL. So that is one of the intervention that we already have, and we have been shared to the beta testing already. And also for those that do not want to know how to design, they just want a game. Like you tell certain colleagues, say, hey, UDL is very good, and they say, oh, don't tell me all the underlying principle, just tell me how to play the game in the class. So I have that covered. We have one intervention that we already copyrighted, and also trademark. So this one you can go to Gamma Room 5, visit me 2:30, my presentation slot, and I will present over there also. So after that, I'd like to acknowledge about the IBP. Thanks so much for the grants and also my grant members. And we, two of us involved in drafting this policy, and now it's already launched by KPT. And then we also have nine of us here being recruited as the facilitator for the this IOER because of our expertise in UDL, not expertise, our a little bit experience in UDL. And two of us in this year are involved in Commonwealth of Learning ITOB. Yeah, that is quite a good achievement, and we hope that continue to move from face to face, from apps to tackle learners and also educators. Okay, I think that's all for me.
Thank you, Dr. Chong Chau-Min, for the interesting sharing session. For our next speaker, he will be presenting a project titled Application of Scratch and Challenge and Gallery Walk for Peer and Group Assessment in Classroom Evaluation. Please welcome Yang Berbahagia Professor Dato Tajul Arifin Sulaiman. The floor is yours, Doctor.
Thank you, MC. Thank you very much. And I'm not yet Dato, but one of the members is a Dato. It's okay. All right, I share the slide. All right. All right. So this is our project title, which is a Scratch and Challenge Board as an authentic assessment, and how we apply it in the classroom. And the member of this research grant is me, and my RE is Mukayan, and Prof. Dr. Muhammad Nazrul from Faculty of Medicine, and Prof. Dr. Shamala is from Faculty of Science Computer. So we are doing some of the project, and basically what we do is how we can using some idea of scratch and challenge, and also using the idea of gallery walks, and how these two tools we can use in authentic assessment. So basically, we have two main issues in problem statement. One issue is the emphasis of using authentic assessment in teaching and learning. So this is one issue that we want to shift the perception and also the thinking of using traditional assessment to another alternative assessment, and we are suggest another type of assessment, which is authentic, or the real authentic assessment. And another thing, another issues that we thinking about this project is how we can encourage a student in terms of involvement, in terms of communication, in terms of collaboration, and also in terms of the cooperative between the student. So based on these main issues, which is one is the alternative assessment, and the other one is the collaborative learning among students, we are suggesting scratch and challenge and gallery works. All right, so based on that issues, our research objective is to identify the perspective of lecturers about the best tool of authentic assessment. And then the second, we develop the framework of scratch and challenge and gallery works as a best tool of authentic assessment. Then after we develop the scratch and challenge and gallery work, we examine the effectiveness of scratch and challenge and gallery works. And we also trying and we are experimenting the different mode of authentic assessment in media socials. All right, so basically we propose the DDR research design, and we are doing some interview and also doing some role play to get a data. And we are doing among the lecturers in UPM, and also we are doing in the class, so involve lecturer and also the students. Right? So based on that, when we are interview lecturers from Faculty of Medicine, and also Faculty of Science Computer, and also Faculty of Education, among the perspective of lecturers is one is authentic assessment or alternative assessment is differ from traditional assessment, and learning objective objectively measured, assessing activities in different way, comprehensive in learning domain, application in real world, elements of 21st century skill. So in this element of 21st century skill, we are focusing on collaborative, critical thinking, creative thinking, communication, and also innovation. And besides of that, we also identify that how we can use the creative teaching in classroom activities. So another part of this research is to develop scratch and challenge and gallery work as the best tool of authentic assessment. So based on our interviews, and also based on our discussion among the members, and also we are all expert in our discussion. So we suggest a tool of SCB, scratch and challenge board. So this is the idea, the framework of scratch and challenge board, which is we have 5 main components, which is my ideas, my questions, chatting, comment, and score. So based on this, we are using this scratch and challenge boards in classroom activities, and how scratch and challenge board we can use as formative assessment and also assessment for learning. Okay, so we are using this assessment as assessment for learning, and we using this this board or these tools to encourage the collaboration, and also communication among the students. All right. So this is the ideas, and the framework of the ideas is this stress and challenge board must have 6 part: my queue, chatting, comment, score, and also my ideas. And the big part, the big component, the main part is how we can put our ideas in a stress and challenge board. Okay. So, and then after we have these ideas and we use these ideas in the classroom. So this is just an example that how I use stress and challenge boards in classroom. So I encourage students use this idea to do a discussion, and then they after do the discussion in the group, then they're presenting the ideas in the class, and another group will give some comments, and also they can give a score for the other group presentation. Okay, and from this activity we ask the student by individual and also focus group discussion, and this is some of the comment of the students. Okay, stress and challenge board is a project-based learning. Stress and challenge board activity is categorized as an alternative assessment to use project-based strategies. Element of stress and challenge board enables students to share ideas and opinion. Emphasis on social skill where students will share ideas, knowledge, and making decisions together. So this is some of the feedback from the students. And then okay, there's more feedback from the students. Okay, and then we are collecting these ideas from the student, and then we are doing some things from the students' interviews. Okay, and another objective for this project is how we can use a different mode of authentic assessment. And for this objective, we are trying to experimenting the ideas, the framework to another application. So from these ideas, we try to digitalize the ideas to mobile, laptop, and to tablet. And after some of discussion among the member of the research, we are trying to use this stress and challenge board in social media group. So, and then we challenge the student try to use this stress and challenge board. And why we are choosing this social media group, because of social media is well known and easy to use, easy to access. And when we at the MCO, during the MCO, we are using online teaching and learning. So stress and challenge by social media is very helpful to us to do some activity in the classroom. Then this is the idea how we can use stress and challenge in Facebook, in Telegram, in YouTube, in Instagram. So this is the ideas that we are trying to use the idea, the framework, framework of stress and challenge in another application. Right, and we are using YouTube. Why YouTube? Because of mobilize wider audience, builds community. We also try to use it in this is just example how students use it in YouTube. Okay, and after that we are also use this stress and challenge board in Facebook. So this is what we are trying to use concept of stress and challenge board in Facebook, and they are create posts, comment, add posts, and also give some ideas in the Facebook group. Then we also give get some feedback from the student. This is the feedback from the students when we are using this Facebook group. And then we are also using in Telegram. Okay, Facebook maybe is a bit outdated for the students. Student now is more on Instagram, Telegram, and also TikTok. So we are using another media. So we are trying to use this framework of the ideas in Telegram. And after that, we are using in Instagram. This is the example of how a student using Instagram. And then we are using also in Twitter. Okay, and this is the recommendation of our stress and challenge. So basically, what we are doing is we get this project and we are thinking about how the best tools in teaching and learning, in assessing, and in activity among the student to encourage the student get more chance to have a collaboration, communication, and also creative thinking. Okay, and from our this grants, we publish into Scopus Index. Okay, one is in stress and challenge alternative assessment, and another is the finding of our study. Right, and also we also publish in another journals. Okay, and this is we also encourage to try to popularize these ideas in innovation competition. Okay, and also in the conference. Okay, poster competition. All right, and then okay, this is our in this poster competition, we got a goal for this competition, and for another I-PICTL competition also we got a silver, and another competition also we got bronze. So we have gold, silver, and bronze in many types of competition. And also we are presenting in the conference and publishing in the proceeding. So I think Mr. MC, this is our project for stress and challenge board as an authentic assessment. And I hope the idea I have published the idea in the journals. So if anyone interested in our idea stress and challenge board and how we use stress and challenge board, I willing to share with other lecturers. So with this, I also want to thanks to CADe to give us opportunity to do this research and do some innovation for teaching and learning the classroom. So that's all, Mr. MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Tajul Arifin Sulaiman, for the interesting and insightful presentation just now. Thank you, Prof. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to go to our last speaker for the day. I would like to invite Dr. Ahmad Salahuddin Muhammad Harituddin to present his project on Beyond Silos, Enhancing Transdisciplinary Engagement among Engineering Students through First-Year Seminar. Without further ado, allow me to invite Dr. Ahmad Salahuddin.
Thank you very much to the MC. Give me a moment, I need to work on some, okay. And I hope you can see my screen today. Is it okay, MC?
House is burning, doctor.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine.
Yes, can
Okay.
see.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. So I'm just going to just walk you through to the project that I am doing with my research group on engineering education. enhancing transdisciplinary engagement among engineering students through first-year seminar. So the problem we were facing is actually what we realized is that engineering education mostly are very, very monodisciplinary. We usually work in silos, and before this, we almost never had any interaction between engineering disciplines. Even more when you talk about collaborations between faculties. So the idea that we had last time was to start a program where of which we call transdisciplinary engineering. But then we went through a few iterations and we talked to a few people, got a few grant application rejected and everything. And then what we came up with is something that is called a transdisciplinary course, which has been successfully implemented in the new curriculum 2021-2025 at the Faculty of Engineering. But although I mentioned many times the word engineering, the reason actually I'm presenting this to everyone is just to show that this idea is pretty much flexible, versatile, and can be implemented within any program. So let me show you what we did and how we actually implement this idea of transdisciplinary learning into our notoriously monodisciplinary discipline. So as we all know, I think we were working simple problems, then working in our own disciplines is pretty much it's okay. But I think students and people nowadays realize that there are more and more complex problems in the world that we need to solve. The recent example was the pandemic situation, and then now the currently that what we are facing right now is the what we call the climate change. And I don't think climate change problem, pandemic problem is a problem that we can solve just by sticking with our own silos. So we realize that we need more and more interdisciplinary collaborations, and hopefully what we do is when we try to solve big problems, wicked problems we call it, we move into transdisciplinary collaboration. So the problems that we were facing, as I stated when we were doing the project, was we want to enable students to create connections between the disciplines, because usually first year students, they don't see this yet. So we want to give this exposure that you can actually talk to other people about solving problems. For example, in physics students, you can talk to agriculture students, for example. We can talk with the language students, for example, when we are exploring relevant concepts, issues, or problems, like I mentioned just now. And usually the big problem is silos still stand in the way. Silo is meaning that we work in our own, very limited space. We work with the people that we know. We work with the knowledge that we are comfortable with. And we don't usually go out of our comfort zone because of many reasons. And one of the idea of how to actually introduce this concept of transdisciplinarity is for first year seminar. And this is one of the many what we call the high impact educational program. So we picked that, we thought that this is so nice. I mean, the concept is it's first year. It's a good exposure for the students, and it's through proper implementation, it can be a high impact educational practice. So, and then we set our mission, which is to actually engage faculty and their peers on topics of intellectual social significance in a cross-disciplinary environment. That was our mission. And the way we want to do it is by creating a transformative course, because at this time the theme was transdisciplinary education to foster intellectual curiosity, problem solving, and active discussion. Okay, so what we when we meet the students the first time, first week, first semester, first year, we told them that this is an engineering course where we emphasize on transdisciplinary collaboration. It doesn't matter whether you are collaborating with different departments at the same faculty, or even between students, between the lecturers, or the staff at the university, for example, librarian, for example, and alumni, community, and even international students, international communities as well. So, so we set out this course to be only 3 hours per week. So very light in the sense that it doesn't take, it's not too intense. And it's usually what we set out Monday to 5 p.m. This is where the freshman students will engage, will be doing activities in this course. And these are some example topics for each week. As you can see, it's not really core engineering, but we try to get as many transdisciplinary topics as possible throughout the semester. And this is the way we assess the students through 3 things mainly. One is what we call as engineering activities, because we want to emphasize on the students doing complex activities where they have to interact with people from all over the university, outside the university, within the department, outside the department, so on and so forth. And of course, because we're talking about communications, we will have weekly in-class academic discussions in the form of fishbowl, which I'm going to show later. And to make the learning really meaningful, really what we call stick to their heart, sticks to the brain. We actually in the first year also we teach on how to do learning journals, and at the end of the semester we compile them into an e-portfolio. I want to talk about the fishbowl discussion first. This is the concept where, like for example, we have a class of 30 students. We pick like 5 of them, sit in a circle in the middle. They discuss about one thing, and the rest just listens to discussion. And then when the time comes, they can, if you watch a pro wrestling, WWE, for example, you can, tag, how tag team works, right? You touch their hands and then you can switch places. So this is the way we try to do in the first year to improve their communication skills, build up confidence to talk about hard stuff, to talk about complicated stuff. It could range from academic integrity. We talk about climate change. Last time we talked about the flood that was happening in I think back in 2021, 2022. So we talk about real complicated stuff just to get these students out of their comfort zone. And although we can see they were struggling because these are first year students. I mean, what we couldn't expect too much, but this is where learning happened. When you were uncomfortable, when you are trying to push yourself, this is where learning happens. So these are some of the, when you talk about fishbowl discussion, but what is being discussed can be many things. It could be discussed about the topic, but it could be also, just to work on, like if you see this example here, they work on building of straws, something like that. And here there was solving murder mystery. And here there was some one of our colleague was also teaching this program, and they made a simple challenge on how to make the longest link, whatever. So and also from time to time we invite lecturers, or we invite academicians, or we invite industry people to talk to our students as well. And as we can see, the first year was kind of wobbly. We didn't know what to expect. But the second year, our students managed to conduct a podcast for the whole semester. So they have their whole episodes on Spotify. And I told them that probably no one is going to listen to this, but you're going to be proud of this in the next years, what you have done so far. So they just record themselves talking about a topic, discuss about anything engineering students want to talk about. And And apart from the fishbowl discussion, I mentioned about the learning journal, which by the end of the semester, they will compile it into e-portfolio. So this is one example where in the first year, I just want them to get to know about themselves. So we did this MBTI test, INFJ and all that, just for them to build their own confidence, discover their own strengths and weaknesses. Siapa bunuh Eddie? If you were born somewhere, if you were alive somewhere in the 90s, you might have remembered the TV series Siapa Bunuh Alice. So Siapa Bunuh Eddie is just our first, because they don't know each other yet. So I made them to play games, talk to each other, how to solve this problem. We didn't do any ice breaking, sesi ta'aruf or whatever. I just told them, solve Siapa Bunuh Eddie. So it was quite a great success. I mentioned also global warming and climate change as a wicked problem. So they include this as well. I asked them to play some kind of games which make them actually understand more about climate change. And surprisingly, not many of these first-year students know about climate change and global warming. So it's a learning experience also for them. And then finally, this year also, we made a breakthrough. We also collaborate with students from universities in Japan and India, and 2 universities in Japan, actually, in India. And then again, we play games. Gamification is a big thing in our pedagogy. So as you can see here, they were playing some kind of game, climate game, and there was me there explaining some things. And also the same thing, they made learning journal, which then will be compiled to an e-portfolio. Here, there was one time where we think we can get more involvement from university in Indonesia, Binus University. So we invite them all just to talk to us, just join the Zoom and talk about anything. So we used, I think that time, Google Jamboard to discuss about how's your first year experience in Indonesia, and then we tell them about how our first year experience in Malaysia. So that was pretty much just the idea that we are trying to push through. And as you can see, most of this is pretty much it's not really engineering education really, but it can be implemented in any faculty, in any program. So what we had is just one first year course, 0+1, 3 hours per week. And this is where we intensely try to put them in the transdisciplinary collaboration to get them firsthand how to talk to other people, how to talk to each other. And we did it in first years so that hopefully this knowledge and skill and attitude will last them for the whole 4 years of their studies. So thank you very much. If you, my poster number is 041 in Gamma Room. So you can find my poster where I explain a bit more about the gamification thing that I did with the students for this course. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I don't stand between you and your lunch. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmad Salahuddin, for the interesting project sharing. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an integrating morning it has been on this International Putra InnoCreative Carnival in Teaching and Learning, I-PICTL 2023. The richness of ideas, the depth of the discussion, and the spirit of collaboration have truly made this a memorable start to our event. As we bring this morning conference session to a close, I want to express my greatest gratitude to each and every one of you here of your active participation, insightful contribution, and positive energy you have brought to our virtual space. Our journey, however, doesn't end here. We're just pressing the pause button until 2:30 when we reconvene for another engaging session filled with more inspiring talks, thought-provoking discussions, and the opportunity to connect with the fellow participants. So grab a well-deserved break, research those mental batteries, and be sure to join us back at 2:30 for the continuation of I-PICTL 2023, Until then, enjoy your break. We look forward to welcoming you all back in the afternoon. Take care and Assalamualaikum.